So they're coming a long way. They're a lot smaller than they used to be. There's bone anchored hearing aids, so if you have like chronic drainage, or if you have like, I just had a patient, a little itty bitty born, who doesn't have an ear canal. You know, or sometimes you're born without an ear, you can have it, so you have an inner ear, but there's no outer structure, the sound can't get through. We can put a device that actually vibrates that bone in the skull so that they can have access to sound. And then cochlear implants. So some of you guys might have seen some kids in school that they have the implanted devices behind their ear. That is, I know it, but surgeons would put electrode array, wind it into the inner ear, and give electrical stimuli to that cochlea. So those patients or people that you see with those, they have no hearing at all. They were completely deaf. And now we're able to give them hearing, which is really, really cool. And then wax removal. So I remove wax pretty much every day. COPD testing, so people that have a hard time processing, maybe they have normal hearing, but maybe speech and noise or different ways of understanding is a little bit more difficult for them. Oral rehabilitation, so our version of counseling, so getting patients to kind of come to terms with their hearing loss, giving them strategies to help them communicate. Talking with families, getting them to understand what's going on with their spouse or child or sister, brother, whatever. We do ototoxic monitoring, so chemotherapy, radiation, somebody that has severe infections and needs major like IV antibiotic treatment that could wipe out the hearing. We monitor that, as well as we can do balance monitoring as well, and then hearing conservation. So like talking to patients, getting them earplugs, earmuffs, appropriate hunting plugs to make sure that they protect their hearing. So where can I work? ENT, so a lot of ENT practices, hospitals, private practice, schools, universities, hearing aid manufacturers, and the armed forces. So I did a private practice out in Montana. I was out there for almost a year. Completely different environment than ENT. So ENT, we do a lot of medical. We work with the surgeons and the PAs that we have in there, which is kind of cool. It's a big variety. Private practice is majority adults and hearing aids. Army, or all the armed forces, look for audiologists to come on staff, which is a pretty sweet gig. You would work with all the people in the armed forces, the soldiers, that's what I was looking for, to monitor their hearing, get them the appropriate hearing protection that they need. Hearing aid manufacturers, you can be on the research side. I could potentially be sitting at home in my pajamas, answering phone calls from people like me saying, help, I'm with a patient, what do I do, what cord do I need, kind of troubleshooting questions like that. Professor at a university, school, so you would have, I don't know if it's Nancy Pitts, I think that it would be Nancy Pitts would be the school audiologist right here. So she travels, she's got the Watson School District, which is kind of nice. She's got a really good gig. A lot of them have seats up, so you travel to several different schools. Nice thing about that is A, you create your own schedule, and B, you work with the kids in school. So there's a snow day, you get a snow day, you get summers off, you get vacations and stuff like that. So it's a wide variety of places to work. I could potentially work at all these different places and have a completely different experience as an audiologist. So, and that's important for me because I've had worked 2 or 3 jobs just to attest to. She's the same way, at any given time I was tour secret, I was teaching dance, I was doing this, I was doing that, and in school. So I'm used to variety. So if I get bored at an ENT, not to say that I will, but I have a lot of different avenues and still can be an audiologist, which is important. I don't know the statistics now on how often you change careers in your life. Yeah, but this gives me, with all the schooling I have, it gives me a lot of different options and still stick with my schooling. So, education. This is kind of the kicker. Not going to lie. So you have to have a 4-year bachelor's degree, which is pretty standard. Oftentimes, if you know you want to do audiology, you would do communicative sciences and disorders. It's an umbrella with speech-language pathology, if any of you guys are considering that degree. Then if you don't, you could do a great sociology or counseling, psychology, Some of those would be a great undergrad to have. And then you take your set core of ComD classes, and you can get this degree, communicative disorders, at Madison, Point, Whitewater, River Falls, Marquette, Milwaukee, and Eau Claire in the state of Wisconsin. So there's big schools. If you want a big university, big city, and there's a really small. Point has a fantastic program. I may be a little biased because that's where I graduated from, but it is. It's very hands-on, very clinical, still a small town. And then you have to go on to for your clinical doctorate. So we are doctors. So you have 3 years of classes with clinicals, 1 year clinical externship, and then you do a capstone, which is a research, and then you present. You also have to take the praxis, and then the practical board examination. And that varies by state. So when I worked in Montana, it was great. I didn't have to take a practical because they're like, no, you did 4 years doctorate, you passed. I mean, you can't get lower than a B in grad school or you're out. So they're like, you clearly know what you're doing. You have practice all the way through, you're good. I came back to Wisconsin and I'm like, dang, I have to take another practical, which is not fun, but it's all good. So, typical day. So I start usually at 8. See 5 to 7 patients in the morning, have an hour for lunch, 5 to 7 patients in the afternoon, chart review, 30 minutes before and after clinic, end of the day is at 5. Now, our office, we cover 5 satellite locations. So satellites work a little different. I start a little later, I leave a little sooner, just because they allow drive time, which is really nice, because we go Rhinelander, Annandale, Medford, Rapids, Point. So we're kind of all over the place. So it's nice that we don't have to be there right at 8 and then get home at 6 or 7 at night. But, so, you're seeing 10 to 14 patients on an average day, which, if you talk to a doctor, like an MD, like our ENTs will see probably 20 patients, 23 patients a day. But our testing, a hearing test takes 30 minutes. Some of our ABR, like our brain stem test, is 90. So that's why we have to allow hearing aids are an hour. So we can't see the number of patients they do, or we'd be going crazy. So it's just not feasible.
Can you work through lunch and leave early? I mean, do you do that ever? Or
I haven't worked out now. Fridays when I'm in Anago, I will, starting this week, work through lunch and get done by my last patient. I'll be done at 1:30, which is nice. I'm still seeing the same amount of patients. So management's really good too about working with you. I'd rather start early and get done early, but because my kids are sleepy anyways, they can sit there and then we can just play them more of the day. But when we're in WASA, we don't really have that flexibility, because we have the ENTs that oftentimes we see the patient and then they see the patient to know how to treat them.
Sure.
So we don't have quite as much flexibility there. So, people that would be great at this job. And if you don't have these characteristics, doesn't mean you're not. Because when I put this slide together last year and I'm talking with my coworkers and they're like, that's not me. So just because you don't have it doesn't mean anything. But self-motivated, hardworking, flexible, because you're going to have, depending on the place, well, pretty much anywhere, it's either going to be an EMT saying, hey, by the way, I need you to see this patient and you have 15 minutes to do it. Or you're going to be in a private practice, you're going to have a hearing aid patient walk in, the hearing aid's broke, and it's 4:30 on a Friday, and my grandson's getting married tomorrow. So you just have to really be flexible with that. You have to feel like working with people, because you're going to work with them every single day. Good time management, work well in a team. Oftentimes, unless you're in your own private practice, even then you will hopefully at least at the bare bones have a receptionist there working with you. You need to be able to have some type of teamwork skills, whether that be a lead or just kind of go with the flow. You're going to be working with other people. A critical thinker, because things are always going to go wrong. You have to be able to kind of think on your feet. This morning was a little stressful morning. And organization helps. I've got some people on my team that are way more organized than I am. I would love to be like them. Some sort of organization helps. Not, you don't have to, I guess, but organization helps. So, benefits. Benefits of the job, it's super rewarding. We're really giving people, we're taking what you guys experience in telephone and kind of giving them the ability to communicate a lot more easier. We've saved marriages. We've helped people graduate from college. Which might sound funny, but I don't know, when I can't hear my husband saying what or not paying attention, I get ticked, and that's for, 5 minutes. Versus, I mean, if they really can't hear and now they're always misunderstanding and you can't have conversations, that can be really, really debilitating for somebody, in a marriage or at work. We've had people that have lost jobs because they can't hear. Technically, they should give every accommodation possible, but there are times when we do everything we can, and just because of the damage to their system, they can't safely perform a job. So it's really good to be able to give back. We have structured hours. This is one of many. I mean, there are some, but if you're going to work in a medical profession, we are Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, no nights, no weekends, no holidays. Very hard to find a profession where you can pretty much be guaranteed you're going to have structured hours. Sometimes you can be a nurse and get lucky and you get a clinic, but really, I mean, if there's a holiday, or if it's a night or if it's a weekend, an audiologist really is not going to happen. So that's nice that that's important to you. There's a lot of variety, like I said, from who we can test, what types of tests we can do, the types of settings we can work with, and it's not physically demanding. You'll read reports that say audiology is usually one of the top 10 least stressful professions. I beg to differ, but it's not physically demanding. So you can work till you're old, and you can have, things go wrong on you and you can still be an audiologist because you don't have to be on your feet all of the time. So that's really nice. Questions?
So what's the most difficult part of your job? Like you said, it's, it's not physically demanding,
Yeah.
but what do you hate most about your job? Like, there's gotta be something.
Oh, yeah.
We understand the rewarding part.
Yep. Well, there's two.
Okay.
One, I have to sell a product that nobody wants. So nobody wants to have hearing aids, and hearing aids are super expensive. There's a lot going on in those little babies that people don't realize, getting you to hear as natural as possible. So, and they're several $1,000s. They're an investment, worth it when you need them, right? Communication, your quality of life. But I get a lot of kickback from that. So it's hard. It's hard to get people to be on board with, yes, I need these, yes, I'm willing to spend the money. Now we've got legislation coming through that over-the-counter hearing aids. I can go to Walmart and I can get a pair of hearing aids. You can take the doctor out of it. The internet sales, the magazine sales, like that's really hard and it's really stressful trying to get people to see the value in me. Because there's a lot, I mean, I can take a hearing aid from Sam's Club, and I can make you hear with it, but it's who's operating it. There's a reason you have me helping you. So that's hard. And honestly, patients can be very, very, very difficult. So the really good patients are great. You've got really good patients that really appreciate you, treat you with respect, and it's great. And then and this is going to happen in customer service. I mean, it doesn't matter. You can be restaurant industry, you can be whatever, it doesn't matter. But that would be probably one of the most. And we're not, unlike the ENTs. So the ENTs will come in, do their evaluation. Okay, yes, you need surgery. Let's schedule a surgery. They're knocked out. Then they see back for a follow-up. We really we develop a relationship with our patients. Because we see them for the test, and now we have to get them to the point of getting hearing aids, and then we see them every 3 to 6 months through the whole time. So if they're difficult, the difficult patients for life are really kind of, but, so, that's how it's stressful. Patients are just kind of like society. Society's getting very demanding, they want it now, they want it faster, better, this, that, and a lower price, and so, that's, the good ones make it worth it, but then you're gonna have it in.
Insurance doesn't cover hearing aids a lot of times.
Medicaid does. Some Medicare supplements are. Unfortunately, they're dealing with third-party programs that they don't realize, so we're not part of that. So they're junky.
Yeah.
Or, some commercials do, but most insurances don't. Question?
So what on all the little AirPods that these kids are wearing nowadays?
They're fine as long as you can't hear them from across the room. So, there's parental settings, which you guys have juniors and seniors, your parents probably know. But like for younger kids, parents can go in and set like their tablet or their iPod or whatever, their phone, so they can't output too loud. But really guys, I mean, if somebody can hear them across their, outside of your ears, it's not worth it. Like you might think it sounds cool, you're damaging your hearing big time. And you don't wanna have to come see me. I don't wanna see you guys for like, well, hopefully I'm retired before you guys do. That would be nice, but. So, is this something that you guys might think you might like? Who here knew what an audiologist did before today? Okay. Ooh, learn something.
So when's the last, I know you guys showed the hands before, has anyone had a hearing test within the last year? And where? Where'd you go, at your doctor, or did you go to a clinic like your nose and throat?
So, usually when you go for your well child, or your wellness visits, they do like a hearing screening. You tell them if you can hear it, if you fail, you come to see me. And I guess I don't know, my kids aren't old enough yet, if you have a well visit every year until you're 18, like kind of like physical. So they should be doing a hearing screening, depending on what doctor you go to. But, so who here are seniors? A lot of you. All right. So have you guys applied to college? Yeah? What kind of careers are you guys thinking about going into? I wish I had a class like this. We didn't have it at Marathon. What?
They're gonna be rock band.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I have here monitors for a rock band. I just had a guy that's touring with a band over in China, or in Asia, so it's kind of fun.
Do you ever have, can kids follow you, like for a day kind of deal? If somebody's interested in that?
You know, it's like, oh, maybe, because honestly, I knew nothing about it. So I did start undergrad as a speech therapy major, hated it. And I was going to be a senior in high school, or a senior in college. I took a semester off, moved back home, like, I don't have a clue what I want to do with my life, and I'm a junior in college. So if you guys aren't undecided, my best piece of advice for you is go in undecided and take all your journals out of the way. Because I went specific and it took me 5 years, so I have 9 years into this. But took an intro to audiology class, and I'm like, oh, this sounds like something I would like, and now here I am. So if you are all interested, come follow me. I have 4 others on my team. Happy to, because once you see it, you get a feel pretty quick. This is something that might interest me or not. So it's a lot of schooling.
What about places like manufacturing, for instance, like here in town, let's say Colby and Colby or the paper mill, where they have that constant noise. Do you guys go into those places and share information with them? Do they have programs in
We
those?
don't. They have programs, and they're controlled by OSHA, so they're all, if they get above 85 decibels for an extended period of time, all their employees are required to wear hearing protection, either earplugs or muffs, and then they get a hearing test every single year. Some companies in town will send their employees to us every year for them, otherwise they go in big semis, and when they fail, then they come and we do like a retest to see if it's really changed.
So a lot of, I know I've always heard this, like things that are a constant hum, for instance, sitting on a lawnmower all day long. That type of humming constantly is not good.
Right.
Correct? Like when I had the sheet metal business, pounding on the tin and making stuff, that type of noise, loud, vicious noise right by your head is not good. So depending on what you guys do, where you work, some of those things can be really disturbing to your ears and hard on.
So does the earwax, I mean, is that kind of does that gross you out? I mean, has that ever been like, oh my God, I can't believe
that came out of your head.
And sometimes it smells and it's infected, so yeah. Sometimes they put little plugs like this out of people's ears. Earwax is normal, earwax is good, keeps bacteria out, keeps bugs and stuff, sounds gross, but you go camping or you're outside, flies can go in, whatever, traps them. And it normally works out normally, but yeah, sometimes they get stuck and then, yeah, like she said, it doesn't gross me out until it's like infected or smells really bad. Then, when I was pregnant, I had to remove, yeah.
What about Q-tips?
And don't use Q-tips. Nothing bigger than the elbow is the saying. I've had some really nasty accidents with Q-tips, over the last year. We just had one, they're abrasive enough they can cause little cuts, so if you're on like a blood thinner or something, you can actually bleed, but oftentimes the last couple I saw, they either got scared or they slipped and they punctured right through the eardrum. And the one lady had blood clots in there for over a month or two, so I had to, it was pretty.
So how do you suggest people clean their ears?
Just let water run in, let water run in the shower. Otherwise you can do like peroxide in water if you really think you have an issue. And then let it bubble and fizz for about 10 minutes and then rinse it out with warm water. So don't go digging, or if you really feel like, gosh, I can't hear, come to me or an ENT, and we can scoop it out or flush it out or suck it out. So a little wax is normal. I mean, it's healthy. It doesn't mean your ears are dirty. You know, it's a normal part of your ear. But yeah, it can be disgusting.
I've seen one time where they stick that and they burn that, they heat that.
Oh yeah, don't, ear candling is also really
Candling,
dangerous.
yeah.
You can get like 3rd-degree burns if you have an accident with that. So do not use ear candles. They don't, A, they don't work, and B, they're very dangerous.
What about a hairdryer? You just put a hairdryer there and melt the wax.
Oh yeah,
Is your job like mentally stressful?
Yes. I mean, that it's not physically, but it can be. Like I said, we've got really good moments, but it all depends on the type of environment. I think, even a school system, that's hard because you're working with parents and families and stuff. It's not always fun. So it can be mentally stressful. It can be emotionally stressful too. But
Some days can be easy and some days can be like, I just need to go home today.
So when that patient comes in and like, he needs the hearing aid but doesn't want it, do you do like a pre-test type thing? Say, okay, now, this is what you're hearing now, let's put this in, wow.
we don't. Some offices will demo. Often, motivation's the #1 indicator for me. On paper, on black and white, yeah, you can notice it or not. But if a person comes in, I hear just fine, I'm here because my wife is here, and they're still, I won't touch them with a 10-foot pole. I tell them, okay, this is where you're at, you need them, go home. Pay attention to everyday environment. Oftentimes, after a couple months, they're like, you know what, I am saying water hot. But sometimes it is a couple years before they come to terms with it. But if they're not motivated and they're gonna do it just because their wife was, they look at the wife and say, he's not gonna wear them. You're gonna spend $4 grand on these hearing aids and they're gonna sit in your drawer. I'm not, and it's gonna be a headache for me, so.
It's pretty amazing, like you said, how they've changed from that big hearing aid to now you can't hardly tell if someone has them in.
Yeah, it used to be body aids, so it used to be you actually wore like an aid here and it was a cord and it wrapped around. I mean, it was big, it was bulky. We used to program them like with a screwdriver. And so you just kind of turned everything up, everything down. Now it's all digital on the computer. We can do every different frequency, noise reduction. It finds where speech is, finds where noise is, reduces it. It's pretty cool all on its own.